Hey, what's up guys? It's Phil and I'm back with the EcubMaker ToyDIY 4-in-1 3D printer. You saw me shoot my videos earlier about the laser engraving and the CNC carving, and we're finally talking about the 3D printing. And this thing has been really nice so far. I've had a few small problems, but I feel like a lot of those might have been because the unit that they sent me was used before, and I don't know if maybe the people that used it before might have damaged it or might have packed it up wrong when it was being shipped. But overall, it has been pretty good. Like I said, I had a few problems, but yeah, pretty good. So overall, it is a very sturdy, solid machine. It's pretty much all steel. I think this part might be plastic, but everything else, this is all solid steel. It uses linear rails on the vertical, this arm here, and as well as the Z-axis there, or say the Y-axis. I always mix them up because it's different in my software. But anyway, yeah, I've got a lot of things that I printed here. So this is here. So we'll start off right with some of the Japan stuff. This is a Tory Gate that I had modeled a few years ago, and this needed a ton of supports. So it was a real pain in the butt to get them all off, but I think it came out looking pretty nice. The other side, it's all symmetrical, so it'll look the same. Okay, and then back here we have the weird Twisty Vase from Geeky Faye on Twitter and other places online. You can find her on geekyfayeart.com. I think that's her address, but yeah, I will post links to everything that I'm showing here that is available. Here we go. So I had modeled this, I bought this toy tanuki when I was in Japan, and I 3D scanned it, and then I printed it on a resin printer. So there's that. But then I decided to do it again with this printer, and this is done with some of the green filament that came with the printer. And I don't have that handy, but yeah, that came out very well. And is a lantern, Japanese lantern that I had modeled, and all this blue is in the Hatchbox True Blue filament. This stuff has been very nice. I've been using quite a bit of that. Let's see what else. This is a twisted heart vase that was a sample model that came on the SD card in the printer. We have Deadpool in that same green plastic that came with the printer. This is by Eastman on My Mini Factory. Let's see what else. We have a little Pikachu printed in the yellow filament that came with the printer. It's very cute. Of course, I had to print a Benchy, and he is very accurate. I've done measurements with my calipers, and they came out extremely close to what they're supposed to be on the website. So that is actual size. So it is a dual color printer. So it will print one color and another color at the same time. So here's one of the cool features here is actually this little shelf here that actually acts more like a slide.
And so what that's for is that anytime it needs to spit out a little extra filament, instead of dumping it on the bed or putting it somewhere off to the side, it will actually put it over here, just like this little bit that's left from the Wonder Woman print. And so a lot of these dual extruder printers, these dual color ones, whenever they're switching between colors, they build a little tower off to the side, and that tower will keep on going up to as pretty much almost as high as the model itself if it has multiple switches like this. Instead, this one will do the switching over here, and you end up with very little extra wasted filament. I saved all the filament from that traffic cone right here, this little baggie here. This is all of the wasted filament. Instead of having a big tower on here, we just get this little tiny bit.
Here's another thing that I printed here. Let's put this on its side. So the spool holder that comes with the printer is not that great, to be honest. It's solid steel, but the spool doesn't roll very well on it. So I found these on Thingiverse, little spool holders, and you do need to add some ball bearings on there. These you can buy these really cheap, like 8 of them for $8 or something, or less than that even. But these actually came out of an old fidget spinner. But those work really well. The only problem is they tend to kind of tip over. If you bump it very slightly, it tips over, and then you have to fix it, and it's annoying. But yeah, they work really well. Put this back on there. So I might redesign these so that they're attached. Put those on there. It rolls nicely. Okay, we got filament coming out all over here. But yeah, so yes, finally we come to the one that I printed just for this video. This is an Eastman bust on My Mini Factory of Wonder Woman. So this printer has a heated removable bed that is magnetic, and it does have automatic bed leveling, and that has worked out very well. Let's take this off. Oop, she is big, so I purposely made her as big as the top of the build volume, as high as I could. Build volume is 180 millimeters squared, so this is like just under 180 millimeters tall. So we can flex this, get her off. Oh, there we go. I got my super glue, or my glue stick, I should say, is bubbling up. It really sticks this well. Let's place that back on there. And let's get this raft off. I don't know if I can get the raft off just with my hands right now. No, I'm going to have to work on that, but she came out really nice. I'm very happy with this. I do have one problem with this printer right now, and I'm not finding a solution for it. Maybe you guys know, if you can put it in the comments if you've seen this before. All of the prints come out with a vertical wavy pattern, like sound waves or waves in water, on the positive X side, which, you know, she was sitting on here, so it'll be on this side. And I've been looking around and I have not found a solution for that. I'm thinking maybe one of the belts like in here is loose. It's not, you know, quite tight. I don't know if that would do it. I'm not even sure if there's a way to tighten the belts in this printer. But yeah, that is a minor issue. It's the only thing that really keeps these from being perfect. But yeah, that is gorgeous. So the software that it uses is proprietary, but it's based on Cura. So if you know Cura, you'll know this very well. Let's take a quick look at how you set up prints in it.
Okay, here we are in EcubWare, which is basically Cura. And so I'm going to load up a model. Okay, let's go to File, Open Files, and here's that Wonder Woman sculpture. Load her up. And you can see she's got these stripes on her, which indicates that she's too big for the build area. So select her. Then I can come over to here we have Move, Scale, and Rotate. I'm going to scale. And I already know that we need to go down to about 70%. That's actually a bit small. Let's try 80. Well, we can even, maybe even go to 90. Nope, enter. Nope, that's too big. Try 85. There we go. That one will work. And there we go. It drops down to the bed. And yeah, that'll work. Then over here we have the recommended settings for beginners. You can set it to 0.1 layer height, which is much higher quality, but it's a lot slower. Or 0.2 is faster and less quality. What you saw a minute ago is what I printed at 0.2. Because it was a 12-hour print and I really didn't want to wait 24 hours or however long it would take. Again, we have infill here. I had it set at 10%. That'll be the kind of grid pattern that's inside the model. Gradual, if you enable that, will make it denser as it gets up to the top. Let's turn that off. Generate support will create supports all over the model, even though this one actually doesn't need supports. And when you download this Wonder Woman sculpture, it comes with two different versions. One of them needs supports underneath the chin. This one, her head is tilted up a little bit, so it doesn't need supports at all. And build plate adhesion will create a raft underneath. With this printer, I have found that it works best if I always create a raft under there. Then you have the custom section here where you can really go into details with very specifically editing every single little thing. This is what I generally use. I've found this under experimental. There is this tree supports, which I found work much better than the regular supports. And those are something you have to enable under the preferences. And then I think you might have to restart the software before they show up. But yeah, this is a really neat support that actually looks like a tree growing up from around the bottom of the model. And goes up with like little branches that support areas that need them. So yeah, that's we have here's our infill. Under material, you can set things like the printing temperature, which you might need to do based on whichever PLA you're using. The blue PLA that I was using, the turquoise for her, I actually used 215 degrees. And the bed was set to 60 degrees. And a lot of this other stuff I didn't really touch. But yeah, that's it. And once you've got everything all set up, you can come down here and click slicing. Although it's just a slice, in my opinion. And that'll take a moment. Okay, that only took a couple of minutes to finish. It does take a little bit longer for these larger prints, but it didn't take too long. And so now we're on solid view here. We can switch this down to layer view. And it'll take a second. There we go. And so now if you zoom in, you can actually see all of the layers. And you get this slider here. You can scrub down and see inside the model. There's the infill. And we can put this all the way down and actually hit the play button. And you can actually see it. You can see how it's going to go as it draws the lines down. And you can scroll up if you want to see it do part up here. You can see it doing all the details. That's just fun. I guess if you have some kind of a problem with an area, you could look at it and say, oh, that's why it's doing that or whatever. But yeah, so now that we're all done with that, we're ready to save. So we can just save our file. And we can see here this print is going to take 15 hours and 55 minutes. This time isn't always that accurate. I find that it usually takes a little longer than that, maybe an hour or so longer. So this really may be like 17 hours. But yeah, then we can save our file, put the file on the SD card, and put it in the printer. Or you can actually just connect this directly to the printer, which I haven't actually tried yet, but then you can come over to this monitor tab, and I guess you can control some of the settings while it's printing. But yeah, so that's it. Let's go back to the printer.
Okay, we're back, and through the magic of YouTube, I got the raft off. Magic of YouTube and a little elbow grease. So yeah, that's off. That looks very nice and clean underneath. And this is really a gorgeous print. I think I'm probably going to sand this maybe a little bit, and then I'll prime it and paint it. I think. We'll see. Alright, but speaking of magic, there's one more print to show. And this is really cool. I mean, this is the same as the... Oops. This is the same as the weird twisty vase, but this material is a PLA, see if this is the right box, that is from Inland. I picked up at Micro Center, and this is a color changing filament. Now when I first bought this, I thought it was going to be heat sensitive, so I held it in my hands, I breathed on it, nothing. And then I took it outside, and the color changed. It turns out it's actually UV sensitive. So, I've actually got my little curing oven here, my paint bucket, that I use for the resin printers. We take that off, and you can see I've got it all lined with LED lights. And if I put this in there for just a couple of seconds, like magic, it comes out red. And you can even see where my finger was. But this is really cool material. And so what I'd like to do is take this one and put it in the windowsill, so that every time the sun hits it, it changes the color. And it's constantly changing as the sun moves. And you can already see it's changing back to white now. So let's try sticking it in there again with my hand covering part of it for a few more seconds. And there we go. It's almost like a tie-dyed shirt. Yeah, that is a really cool material. I love that. It was not cheap though. Yeah, I bought it at the same time. I bought it at the same time as this material, same brand and all. This is more Inland. This is the turquoise color. And this one, the material is actually, the color is called natural to red color changing. They were both $17, but you get a lot less with the inlet, with the color changing. You get about half the amount. Let's see. So we got the same size spool, but half the amount on it. There we go. Okay, so to wrap this video up, let's recap here. The EcubMaker ToyDIY 4-in-1 does laser scanning, does CNC carving, does dual color printing, as you can see here. It has the heated bed, automatic bed leveling, which is great. The downside to that is it does the bed leveling every single time you start a print, which could be good, but it also adds to the startup time. It does have the heated bed and the removable magnetic flexible platform. And that's about it for the video. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. And that's it. Have a great day.